and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, we are live on Synergy Network Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. with our rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Also, viewers on YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So, straight into the news tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. The People's National Movement has officially opened nomination for its 2025 national internal election. The General Council confirmed the call for election, and the internal election to Supervisory Committee approved by the Central Executive will oversee the process. 16 positions will be contested as nomination day is set for June 2nd, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Chairman Richard Walcott and Secretary Dr. Annalise Percy will oversee the proceedings. So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who would like to join the PNM, nomination day is open. Remember that. The public has been warned about sharing information from the Public Sex Offender website. Assistant Superintendent of Police attached to the Criminal Records Office, Tula Julene, my mistake, explained that reproducing any information from the Public Sex Offender website, whether formally or informally, is a criminal offense. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, about 2 years back, we at Real Talk pushed for the sex offender registry to be created in Trinidad. This was one of the legislations and amendment we pushed for, and we got it passed. For those of you who remembered, and I know my callers would remember, we at Real Talk, Saieed, this is one of the things that we pushed for and got passed. Legislation's amendment, it was passed in the upper and the lower house, and it became a law in Trinidad and Tobago. The police division set up a website, but we also pushed for the sex offender registry to go public, so that individuals would know if their neighbor is a rapist or not. Now listen to this, They say if you reproduce any information from the Public Sex Offender website, it is a criminal offense. He says any person who intentionally and without lawful cause or justification commits an offense is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $25,000 and to imprisonment for 3 years. Listen to this.
Any person who intentionally and without lawful cause or justification or excuse reproduces, shares, or uses any information contained on the website commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $25,000 and to imprisonment for 3 years.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago. Currently, there are 36 registered sex offenders in the Public Sex Offenders website, while 861 are registered on the National Sex Offenders website. TTPS Legal Officer Inspector Saieed Ali stated that if it is found that persons do not adhere to the law, they open themselves up to serious legal ramification, including an investigation and prosecution. He outlined how this can be reported to the police. Now listen to this.
We are asking you to report that matter immediately to the designated officers, and the designated officers are officers who are of the rank of sergeant or above in the respective station, in the respective divisions, and they will conduct the necessary inquiries to determine whether in fact there's any criminal conduct that is unfolding with reference to the information they receive.
Now Trinidad and Tobago. This is where it becomes tricky. This is where it becomes tricky now. So I want to ask those officers, if they have a neighbor and you have a wife and you have a girl child living in your house, wouldn't you like to know the type of neighbor you have? If your neighbor is a hitman, if your neighbor is a drug dealer, if your neighbor is a human trafficker, if your neighbor is a gunsmith, if your neighbor running a prostitution cartel, wouldn't you like to know that? So I am asking the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service now, from the Acting Commissioner of Police, come straight down to the SRPs. Wouldn't you like to know who your neighbor is? Yes, you will gladly want to know who your neighbor is. So now, why it is that citizens of Trinidad and Tobago cannot know who this sex offender is to make sure that their wife and their daughter is safe from the neighbor next door. I am asking the TDPS officers that. Why can't Trinidad and Tobago citizens, the husband, the brother, the father, the grandfather, why can't these individuals know who this sex predator is just to make sure that your wife and your daughters are safe in your house? Why can't they know that? Why? We at Real Talk here, I side, pushed for this legislation and amendment about 2 years back. We pushed for it, we got it passed, and it is a law in Trinidad and Tobago. But the problem we having right now is that I want to know if my neighbor is a sex predator or a sex offender, so I would know how to look and how to secure my wife and my girl child. Wouldn't you like to know the same thing as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? Because we have sex predators all over the world. In the United States, the entire population will know who a sex predator is. You know why? Because they are on our website and you could go up and check it out. So if there's a newcomer into the neighborhood would know that, hey, you see that man? That man is a sex offender, and we have to be careful with our children. So I am asking Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, I am asking Administration Department, I am asking Information Department, I am asking the Intelligence Department, why the hell we as citizens have to face a fine of $25,000 or imprisonment for 3 years? Why do we have to face that? I didn't tell him to rape the neighbor. I didn't tell him to be a sex offender. So now viewers, I don't even know if my neighbor is a sex offender. But if he comes into my house and rape my wife and rape my daughter, a magistrate will give him bail while they are being tormented and scarred for the rest of their life. He gets him bail to come outside to go and rape somebody else's daughter. Is that fair enough to us? 2386716. So Trinidad and Tobago, there are some sex offenders would be returned to Trinidad as deportees. And it is okay for TTPS to tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that if you reproduce this information, you could be charged $25,000 fine or 3 years in prison. Them is rapists. You leave Trinidad, you're going to the US, you commit whatever crime there. Now you're coming back to Trinidad as a rapist, as a child sex offender. But we as citizens must not know about this. This is unfair. TTPS to say if you see something, say something. work with us and we go work with you. But if we don't know who our neighbor is, how in God's world we are going to work with you? You tell me. You tell me, Trinidad and Tobago. Because I'll tell you this, no community in Trinidad and Tobago wants to have a rapist living next door. Wants to have a human trafficker living next door. Wants to have gunmen living next door. No community wants that. So how now is TGPS going to work with the citizens now in identifying? Listen to me carefully. How is it that the TGPS officers is going to work with the citizens now in identifying these sex offenders? Come on, Trinidad and Tobago, tell me. How? You all will feel it's nothing, but this individual raping woman. Your mother, your grandmother had 80 years and they're raping that. In the US, man, the whole community will know who the rapist is. We in Trinidad, we're going to face a fine. To tell you how illiterate some of them officers is in TDPS. We're going to face a fine just for me now. Okay, Saieed found out John Doe is a rapist. I'm going to face $25,000 now in the court or 3 years in prison just for telling my neighbor, hey, you see John Doe here? He's a rapist. Just watch your wife and your daughter when he's in the community. Does that help the community? So those same police officers now who telling Trinidad and Tobago that, hey, if you reproduce this information, you will be charged $25,000 or 3 years imprisonment. How does that help in Trinidad and Tobago identify predators? What is Benjamin going to do? How is Benjamin going to fix this? Huh? Those two, remember the visuals are them two officers. How is these two officers now going to help Trinidad and Tobago keep a tab on this individual that is returning from the United States as sex predators and sex offenders? How is he going to educate Trinidad and Tobago on these predators that are coming? Tell me, because I want to know. They are police officers. If they find out one of these predators rape their daughter, or rape their cousin, or rape their wife, the law is in them hand. They will pass and pick them up. What about the normal citizen? Tell me. Ola, tell me. Caller, good night.
Saieed,
go right ahead, you're live.
When somebody commits a crime, they relinquish all their rights. They have no more rights. They have broken the law of the land, and therefore they have relinquished all their rights. So we, as common citizens, we have a right to know who they are, know
correct,
know what crime they have committed.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break. But remember, this is our main topic tonight. Feel free to call in, because let me tell you something. They are deportees returning from the United States as sex offenders, sex predators into Trinidad and Tobago, and we must not know who they are. We'll be right back after this break.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Remember 238-6716 is the phone line to call in when we go live. So here it is. Members of the Contractors and General Workers Trade Union staged a midday protest at the entrance of the San Fernando City Hall on Tuesday. They expressed their frustration and concerns through songs and placards on the working condition of the San Fernando City Corporation. This is at their employees. Now, Vice Chairman of the trade union, Ian Charles, said despite the rainy weather, they aimed to highlight these issues to the public. He listed some of the grievances employees of the San Fernando City Corporation face on a day-to-day basis. Listen to this.
Yes, we crying out for proper tools, proper conditions for work. You understand? The place is infected with rats and pigeon droppings. Yes, snails out as well.
Now viewers, he said employees are frustrated with their plea for assistance while a large sum of money was spent to revamp a CEO office after the discovery of unsanitary conditions. Listen to this one more time.
Some rat droppings was found in a drawer, one of a drawer in her office. She eradicated the whole furniture, cupboard, everything. That cost the corporation over $40,000. You understand? And we crying out for proper fan, proper lights. You understand? Urinal. You understand? A proper sitting accommodation for workers.
So Trinidad and Tobago, hear this now. So I've been on the airwaves for 8 years. And this is the first time they come out in 8 years. So I want to ask you the question, what happened last year? What happened the year before? So did this condition happen last month? I want to ask the Contractor and General Workers Trade Union this. I want to ask the Vice Chairman, Did this issue started off last month and all I couldn't take it for 30 days? We in May? April. So in the month of April, did these things just pop up in the month of April? We are in May month. Good? We are in May month. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of May. Did these concerns arise in the month of April? Did these concerns raise in 2024? So if this was the working condition in 2024 or 2023, why the hell Allah didn't say something? Saieed, I'm asking all of that question. Why the hell Allah didn't say something in 23, in 24? How come? What the mouth was? I don't know what time I'm out to talking. And I don't care who stone, who got any stone falling. What happened in 23? What happened in 24? What happened in 22? I am asking all of that. Nobody had nothing to say now, ain't? All of a sudden in Trinidad and Tobago, everybody wants the government to address the problem today. When they want it fixed, today. And this is the problem I am having now with people. All I had 9 years. 9 long years to open all your mouth. And for 9 years, all I couldn't talk. For 9 years, all I take dumb tablet. All I drink dumb liquid. All I couldn't talk. All of a sudden, government change. They want the situation addressed today. They want the problem fixed today. Right now, I'm here to blast all you. Did this issue raise in the month of April? Definitely not. Otherwise, you all would have voiced your concern in the month of April. He said employees are frustrated with their plea for assistance while a large sum of money was spent to revamp a CEO's office. If the CEO not doing the work, protest against the CEO and get him out. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. Hear this now, switching gears. Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Eli Zuku, have stated that he has instructed his ministry not to issue him a priority bus route pass, insisting he wants to experience the traffic problem of regular citizens. Listen to this.
Many of the names were questionable, and there will be some who will say that I could do this because I have a bus route pass. But I want to make it clear to the nation that I have instructed the Permanent Secretary and the Ministry not to issue me a personal bus route pass at this time. Not to issue me a bus route pass. No, not to issue me a bus route pass at this time.
So you'll be sitting in traffic like the rest of us?
Yes. Traffic management falls under my purview. How can I address the traffic congestion if I'm avoiding it? And I think that was the issue why traffic did not ease up in the last 9.5 years. Because the persons responsible were avoiding traffic.
Now he said, viewers, passes were given out without any control. Listen to this now.
As you may be aware, there are 3 categories for issuing PBR passes for the private motor vehicles. They are permanent, temporary, which is public officials, government agencies, and so forth. And then you have letter passes. Letter passes is for non-government agencies or individuals, but they were given out without any control or criteria. So the government is going to recall those passes through July 1st, 2025, through the issuance of the proper public notices. Persons are free to reapply, but tighter controls will be put in place.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we have a list of individuals' name, their vehicles, and you'd shocked to know that sportsmen in Trinidad and Tobago, they have bus route pass. Entertainers in Trinidad and Tobago, they have bus route pass. It have business officials who also, we have the visual. We also have the visuals. Blurred off. No, it not a thing. So Trinidad and Tobago, we have it. Imagine use a sport, use a cricketer in Trinidad and Tobago, use a footballer, use a hockey player, you have a bus route pass. You singing in a bar side in the road, and you have a bus route pass. As the president of a credit union, as a host, as a media host in Trinidad and Tobago, and I don't even have a bus route pass. Imagine that. But a singer who's singing in a bar side in the road, he get a bus route pass. You think it easy? It ain't easy at all. But nevertheless, the minister declined to comment on the President Christine Kangalu's recent call to retain the Demerit point system pending a review. Kangalu has raised concerns about road safety and questions whether the framework was achieving its intended goals. Listen to this now.
The merit point systems in general have the goal of safeguarding road users. Road accidents cause death and disabilities. They also cause unbearable mental anguish and long-lasting trauma. Sadly, many of us here today have felt this anguish and still live with this trauma.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago. Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed. Two things quickly. Mr. Saeed, where the protests that you have been seeing in the South Borough area there. Now, these things just take time, you know that, right? But if you're negotiating with management and you don't get through with management as to what you would like to have in the workplace, then there is no other choice than to protest and let the management know that you're serious because they're not taking you on serious. I think talks would have been going on for a while. And because of no solution to the talks is what will have the protests taking place. Okay? That's one thing. And secondly, the law that prevents the Trinidad and Tobago citizens from knowing the sex offenders on the site. You know why that law is protecting so much, Mr. Saieed Ali? Let me tell you and your show in this country something. We have to ask the question, how many police names is on that site? Are we sure that they have any police names on that site? That's why it is protected? We don't know, we just asked that question, right? Good night, you have a nice night.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, and we're going to be right back after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
We heard from Christine Kangaloo concerning the demerit point in our country, and she lost members of her family. But the demerit point, it didn't do anything for the accident. The accident still happened. Now I want to let you understand something. If you get into an accident, demerit points can't help you. It can't help you. When a police stop you, you have a broken bulb, they hit you some demerit points. You have a bent tire, they hit a bad tire, they hit you a demerit point. You have a horn not working, they hit you a demerit point. And it's 2, 3, and 4 demerit points going up the road. Now listen to this. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles Robinson has commented on the government's proposal to remove the demerit point system. This after she highlighted the significance of demerit points, adding that government must address the legislation when it comes to this issue. She noted that the demerit point system may not have been perfect, but it does focus on the issue of road safety. No, it's a lie, it's not road safety. Listen to this.
The demerit system may not have been perfect, but I think that the critical issue focus on the whole issue of road safety. I mean, when we look at the data, we do know that there are a lot of deaths, there are a lot of road accidents, and as a country, that must be a matter that we should address. So I am happy that it was raised, and it is a matter we ourselves, we are looking forward to see exactly what it is the government is proposing, because it's not going to be a simple issue where you just, cancel the demerit points.
Now viewers, Beckles stated that many countries in the world have a demerit point system, and a lot of it is linked to insurance to your driver's permit. Listen to this.
We would like to know exactly what they mean when they say to remove the demerit points. I mean, we have heard the public, some people have complained that they do feel that it's too penal. But we want to know exactly what do they mean by that. If you look at most countries in the world, they do have a demerit system. And a lot of it is linked to insurance, to your driver's permit.
So first things first, if ministers were getting the demerit point system, would have been okay. If ministers in Trinidad and Tobago were charged for corruption, it would have been okay. If ministers in Trinidad and Tobago were charged for money laundering, for conspiracy, for associating, for collaborating, if ministers were to be charged for this incident, would have been okay. would have been okay. In other countries, they are charged. They are charged. In Trinidad, I can all be okay, Madam Minister, I fear I lost my work, so you go ahead. There ain't nothing you have on your seatbelt. You go ahead. Really? It happens in Trinidad and Tobago. It happens in Trinidad and Tobago. Now listen to this. The opposition leader also warned the UNC government that a level of collaboration may be required to effectively address issues such as crime, but said that this issue cannot be solved by games of political football. Beckles said the government can be assured of opposition support for good laws and sound policy. Listen to Beckles.
At this time in the history of our nation, a level collaboration may be required to effectively address certain complex issues such as crime. Crime and other issues of critical import cannot be solved by games of political football in this chamber. Neither can the superficial proposition of undemocratic measures be the solution. The People's National Movement cautions that we will not sit by and allow the wholesale adoption of unsuitable legislation into our country. We demand due diligence and reject cut-and-paste approaches which have not been properly vetted. While the urgency to address crime is valid, we must ensure that our policies do not violate basic human rights or compromise the democratic values that underpin our society.
So you all heard that. Wasn't Penelope part of the PNM administration in power for 9 years? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me. Her colleagues stand on a platform and boastfully said the PNM runs the parliament. The PNM is in power and we will not support stand your ground legislations. So in other words, Cinderella was telling bandits, go into people's property, do what you want, and all is good. When all the home invasion was taking place, where was Penelope Beckles? Wasn't she a minister at the time? Fear across the border now. Call her good night.
Good night, Saeed. Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead, you're live.
You hear me? I'm calling from Tunapuna.
Welcome to Napuna.
Alright. Saeed, let me tell you something. The hypocrisy of the PNM, including Penelope Beckles, who sat there and officiated, I have to say that, who supported all, all the powers of the PNM, including that of the Demerit point. And they said absolutely nothing. Now that this government wants to review it and whatnot and things. But you see again, Saeed, you have to look at Christine Kangaloo, who is a PNM. She is preaching the gospel of the PNM. She's supposed to keep she damn mouth shut. That is she getting involved in the politics of the day. She have no right to be making those kind of comments and calling on the government to deal with the crime and all the merit points and artificial intelligence and mention about the public service commissions and all these kind of things. Because you were there. You were the person who fired Joala Rambaran when the last president stepped out of the country. They put you to do the dirty work and you fired Joala Rambaran.
True, thank you, my friend.
So you can't be coming today.
Thank you, my friend. So now Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, She also urged the government to think deeply before making policy changes and to avoid vindictiveness. The PNM will not stand by and see citizens victimized on the basis of political preference. Victimized? Listen to this. At one time, we had a call in concerning the Demerit point system in Trinidad and Tobago, where he was victimized by a police until it went to court and his license was seized. The man had to leave his work, look for another work. His wife left him, brought him up in court for maintenance. Why? Because he did not have his driver's permit to continue the job he was doing. I got 3 demerit points from our police. who didn't know the difference between two-lane heading north and a lane going left and a lane going right. So you see this demerit point system? It should be scrapped. You're getting demerit point for a blow bulb. You're getting demerit point for a bad tire. You're getting the demerit point for a cracked light. Your wiper ain't working, you got demerit point. Not one demerit, you know. It's 3 and 4 you get in. I got 3 demerit point because the officer didn't know the two-lane heading north. I wanted to know if it was a blind officer that gave me a ticket. I went and paid my ticket. Now in the courthouse, the magistrate cannot dismiss the demerit point and licensing office cannot dismiss the demerit point. So I was penalized twice. To pay $1,000 because of an illiterate policeman, and I end up with 3 demerit points. So when I accumulate 14 demerit points, my license will be suspended. Now I have to go by a private agency, not license officer, no. A private agency to pay about $1,400. To do what? To be reintegrated back into society. Really? This is one of the most silliest, stinking, dirty money-making laws that have in Trinidad and Tobago. How much of citizens in Trinidad and Tobago got their license suspended? How much? Is police getting the demerit point? No. Is the ambulance driver getting a demerit point? No. Is the fire officer getting a demerit point? No. Is ministers and government officials getting demerit points? No. You know who feeling it? The taxi driver, the bus, the truck drivers, the grocery drivers, the normal day-to-day citizens in Trinidad and Tobago is facing the demerit point system. I am a citizen. I did no wrong. Headed two-lane heading north and I headed north, and I got an illegally overtaken on the left and 3 demerit point. So I want to ask Penelope Beckles, if two-lane headed north, how the mother in hell I could get 3 demerit point for illegally overtaking on the left? I can't go to court. Why go to court and tell them? I pay my $1,000, I still end up with the demerit point. So does that help me? And that was my situation. So I am telling Kamala Prasad, this is a government, scrap the entire thing. Otherwise, it is a money-making business in Trinidad and Tobago for private institutions. I don't care what you say, I will continue labeling all you. Because no hierarchies in this country ain't getting away from demerit points. Call it good night. You going? All right, nice. So now Trinidad and Tobago, switching gears. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Prasad Bisasa, have stated that although the United National Congress won a 26-seat majority in the April 28 general election, which gives them a 3/5 majority in the lower house, they will not misuse their authority. Listen to this.
We are cognizant that our citizens have given our government a 3/5 majority. That's a very special majority. And we thank the people of TNT for giving us that majority, because that's how the law is. We will need that majority from time to time. But I give the assurance today, we will not abuse that power that you have given us. So as I close, I say people voted not just for a change of government, they've voted for long-term structural change in systems, and therefore we will deliver that with the special majority that we have.
Now, viewers, the PM also told her members that they are here to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago as they did in the previous government, 2010 to 2015. She said some person had a short stay in this job. Listen to her.
And let me look at the mandate of our MPs. If you sit in this chamber, all of you, thinking you are here on your own frolic, believing that power belongs to you instead of the people who put you here, then be prepared for a very short stay in this chamber. Trust me, Mr. Speaker, I've been here for some time. Some people just last only one day in this job. The people are paying attention. People are paying attention. Once we take this oath, as we did today, the oath of a member of parliament, we commit ourselves to a life of service to our citizens.
Now, viewers, another issue high on the administration agenda is tackling the cost of living, saying her party was committed to helping the working class. The PM said they will look into the cost of groceries and gas.
We will begin by prioritizing safety in our homes and our communities. Crime is not a statistic. It is a daily terror for too many families. And so our agenda will include both legislatively and non-legislatively the fight against crime. We will give our judiciary and law enforcement officers the necessary tools and support whilst we invest in prevention, education, and community development. We will begin also, Mr. Speaker, by tackling the cost of living. We talked about the economy, very vital for us. So we'll be looking from groceries to gas to electricity. We must help the working class in this country.
So, Fernando, we want to wish them well in the next 3 to 6 months. Hopefully, they could put something in place. They are there for 5 years. And hopefully, within 3 to 6 months, they can actually accomplish something that they set out to. Hopefully. Switching gears. We have a call. Call good night.
Good night, Saieed.
Go right ahead, your life.
Informative show, very informative, always informative. Like.
Thanks, my friend. We try to do the best.
You want to know what? I agree with you. You could drive out your house and go through all one of them bad roads, hot hole, and your light just blow, just so.
Correct.
You would know it, and then the 2 blocks down the road, you meet a roadblock. Then they more responsible. And you know I would understand? Since when? This PNM, when PNM was in power, and you used to ask reporters asking questions, them never used to answer nobody. I see Churchill walk off on a reporter and stoops. How come them trying to bully Bajan we Prime Minister into answering every question them ask just so, and to bully Bajan she to their agenda or what? How they coming with this bullying thing, this Rowley mentality again? What is really going on? You used to ask PNM question, we used to ask them what going on, and they never answering me.
Correct.
Never.
Correct.
Right, all of a sudden they want to bully Bajan we Prime Minister 2 months in past, yes, and they want she answer this and answer this. Miss Prime Minister, don't let them know you had a conversation and you talked, and in the future, as Mr. Stuart used to say, you will further inform them on whatever they need to know. Simple as that.
Simple.
Right, you had a conversation and you talked. That was what Mr. Stuart used to tell us. Our Prime Minister them never answer, we have no question. Right, no more time the citizens asking, and we never get answers. This dragon deal so long we questioning how we can deal with a sanction nation. Don't this have repercussions? We talked, we had a conversation, and in the future we'll find out. We find out what happened, right? It bust. Okay, so Miss Prime Minister, my Auntie Kamala, you do your thing and you don't have to answer anyone. You is the boss in charge. Just as Mr. Rowley used to be in charge and bully Bajan everybody. You ain't no bully Bajan, but you do have to answer everything they ask.
Thank you, Mike.
You enjoyed your tonight, Saieed. Wonderful program, man.
Thank you, Mike.
them demerit points.
Thank you, my friend. So now for Trinidad and Tobago. Cyber Safe, Trinidad and Tobago. Darren Hooray. Hope I pronounce his name properly. Described President Christine Kangaloo call on artificial intelligence legislation as timely and necessary as AI continues to grow rapidly in various sectors such as education, employment, and security. Listen to this.
I mentioned before that our existing legal framework, particularly the Computer Misuse Act of 2000, was last updated in 2011, so it's vastly outdated. So we need to strengthen these foundational laws as opposed to creating a standalone AI legislation which could fall short if left to stand on its own. So now we must also ensure that any approach, and this is really important, any approach to AI regulation also includes public education, digital literacy, and stakeholder engagement.
Now viewers, he explained how the Computer Misuse Act continues to be outdated and impractical, especially with today's global technology advancement. He also shares opinion that some laws required updating.
In today's world, it's simply not equipped to handle modern threats. There is no mention of ransomware, phishing, identity theft, AI-generated misinformation, deepfakes, and the list goes on. So I really think that we need to pay attention to some of our existing legislation and not necessarily run straight to creating new ones. So we definitely need to pass a cybercrime bill and have an updated cybercrime act that includes, all of these modern attack vendors, including AI-generated misinformation.
Viewers, he also hopes that legislation would combat several challenges as a digital society faces a major one being public trust with misinformation. One more time.
Cyberbullying and online abuse, particularly for the vulnerable women, children, use of AI can make it so much easier for a perpetrator to act on these vulnerable groups. Use of AI for fraud and identity theft, often again targeting vulnerable populations. You have situations where people are actually creating fake recruitment agencies to try and trick people into applying for jobs and sharing personal information, and even asking for money to continue the application. And these look very, very real. Another one of the challenges that it could impact on would be workforce displacement. Everyone is always speaking about, well, AI is going to take my job. So we have to look at whether or not AI systems are unfairly replacing jobs.
So hopefully in the coming weeks or months, we're going to update you, viewers, about the AI development with the new government in place. Switching gears, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin have assured that the municipal corporation will receive adequate funding, even as the government moves ahead with plans to repeal the property tax. She accused the former PNM administration of systematically weakening local government over the past decade, stripping it of funding, denying key staffs, and stifling operation. Although tax collection resumed in 2024 with an estimated $135 million deposited into the consolidated funds, former Finance Minister Klong Mbut admitted that the system was designed so that these funds would be deposited directly into the consolidated fund until such time as local government corporation could collect the tax themselves. Arawi said the 2025 budget clearly outlined an intervention of allocation, a portion of property tax revenue to municipal corporation, but stressed that the collection and disbursement of those tax all fall under the Ministry of Finance. According to Al-Rawi, Amina's comment indicate a lack of communication with Finance Minister Devendra Tanku. They no lack. They're not going into power. So they have to talk. They have to communicate. It's not a lack of communication. They now got appointed into their office about a week and a half back. But nevertheless, we're going to wait and see how it unfolds. So viewers, we have about 3 minutes on our program tonight. But I want to encourage you to look at the demerit point system in Trinidad and Tobago. That is number one. Number two, we are having deportees come back to Trinidad. Some of them are on sex offender registry lists in the US. And TTP has said, if there is any reproduction of information with a citizen could be charged $25,000 or 3 months imprisonment. How are we going to identify these sex predators to protect ourselves? Now, TTPS is okay if someone get caught and the pictures all over social media. TTPS is okay with sharing those information. TTPS is okay with sharing accident. TTPS is okay with sharing murders. TTPS is okay with sharing conatis in the public domain. The newspaper, news headline shows like mine, they are okay with it. But the main topic, they want the main things in Trinidad and Tobago, the main things in our country to identify predators. You know what they want to do? They want to charge us for reproduction. How is that helping a victim? How is that helping a victim to talk about her incident and pointing out another individual to help another female who could become a victim? How could that help us? So I want to ask the two officers. Run back the visual of the two officers from the sex offender story. So I want to ask these two officers. Tell Trinidad and Tobago. This is one of the officer, and this is the other officers. They are telling us if we reproduce information from the sex offender registry website, we could be charged for reproduction, for sharing information. How the mother in hell you want to charge us for that? You all okay with calling the media to highlight murder, banditry, house invasion, motor vehicle larceny, gun smugglers? You all okay with calling the media for this? But you want to charge people now for if we share information about sex offenders, predators? No, I'll come better than that. Come better than that. I am telling all you, on a live, one of my live program, come better than that. Expose sex predators. Just how you always expose a murderer, a man who gone in a man's house, all exposing the picture. Last year, all of a motor vehicle, all exposing the picture. But a man wife get raped, scarred for life. I don't want to charge me for sharing information. A man daughter, 4-year-old rape. All I want to charge us for what? Informing the public? No man, I'll come better than that. Come better than that, because I'll tell you something. If all your daughter, or all your wife, or all your grandmother get raped, all you want to fix it all yourself. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, we run tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. We'll be right back here for another episode of Real Talk with Saieed as we go live another night. Until then, good night.